Greeting. I love when that interjects. Greetings, all you fantastic cats and kittens out there. This is called Dealing with Zoom, when it yells at you that there's a recording in progress.
Ah!
We're super professional here at Disinformed After Dark. I'm Shane.
I'm Doc.
And I'm Michael.
My neurospiciness is catching up with me this evening, I think.
The readings are off the charts.
It's what I hear. And I didn't even undergo some gas chromatograph or microscopy or any other random nonsense this evening.
You're on about a habanero level of spiciness today.
Ooh, really? I have 400 joules?
Scoville
yeah.
units. Yes.
No, I prefer joules.
You've got the jewels, just got to jack them.
Particularly
Gigawatts!
if Miss Florence Maybrick is playing with them. What the hell is a gigawatt? But, welcome all, in case you're unfamiliar, and woe unto you if you are. We are the hosts of the Disinformed podcast, which flees your preferred provider app every marvelous Monday morning. But of course, what we do here is a little after party, if you will. And I'm looking right at the camera when I say this, Doc. But this is our video companion podcast that we have over here on the tubes of you. We decompress after the episodes. We have a little fun, a little song, a little dance, Batman's head on a lance. And it's a delightful time. We thank you for joining us. But we had talked about one of the greatest cinematic epics of all time this week, the WWE Films production, the first and inaugural, in point of fact, No Holds Barred. Quite possibly the greatest cinematic work in the whole of human history.
Dookie.
For Dookie. But because Michael has not seen this film nor anything attached to it prior to me showing him the Dookie scene, we are going to share that with Michael, and we're going to show a little trailer here. So is everybody ready to enjoy a bit of No Holds Barred?
Give it to me.
I appreciate the head nods. Here we go. Of course, I have to start pushing buttons, which always works well.
Oh, they're scary buttons.
Indeed.
Ah!
So, Dookie, here we are. Everybody prepared for the joy that is No Holds Barred.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
My body is ready.
My Dookie is ready.
Are you looking for a little escape?
Firstly, I'm just going to say the fashion trends alone are just, absolute delight. Just head to toe spandex and cowboy boots and the do-rag.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with the do-rag and a cowboy boot combo. Just
Indeed.
Mwah.
You got some pretty good air there, too.
Oh, it's the cowboy boots.
In point of fact, I believe they pushed him up off of a board in order to get that shot. So, delight.
Did you watch the director's commentary version or something?
No, I listened to a Something to Wrestle With, where they were discussing some of these things, and Conrad Thompson is apparently very fascinated with the Dookie scene, which is where this.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, no small wonder. Here we go.
Want to see something? This is sick. You don't see every day.
Oh, Stan Hansen, bless him.
Are you ready for a whole new...
Saucy.
Sorry, YouTube.
Honestly, the outfits are great. Oh, that hand gesture.
If only the Hardys had known.
History. Zeus. Way back. Get ready. No ropes can hold. No ring.
Oh man. Oh, he killed him.
You don't hit the ring announcer. It's not called for.
It's time. No holds barred.
I watched this movie like a year and a half ago, and just seeing this trailer, I'm like, I kind of want to watch it again.
It is the greatest camp possible. I mean,
good old Tiny.
I love the cameos that they got whipped in there, particularly like Stan Hansen and the teeny wangers. Michael, I assure you, if anybody would enjoy that, it would be you. And I think that's proven that not since Jack-o'-lantern have we got
You
to
thought
something.
Oppenheimer was good.
Ooh, yeah. You
Barbie.
know what? They have to replace it with this movie.
Yeah, Barbie ain't got nothing on Hulk Hogan as Rip. I can't even get the knuckle to go that far to get
My
to
pinky wants to bend when I do it. I have to
yeah.
This hurts my hand.
I feel like they should have thrown that to the New Age Outlaws. It's like, y'all better call somebody. That probably needed to be used.
Oh, they didn't know.
They didn't have cell phones back then.
Now, there's something like I would love to just have you and I, Doc, run a string of random wrestling quotes and see how many things Michael knows and can reference, because we know a lot more than he does. Oh, it's true.
It's damn true.
It's damn true.
There you go. There you go. I'm assuming that was a reference. It
was a reference. I think
he's drive home that point.
I think the reason why I brought it up was when I just was like, oh, they didn't know, because he picked up what I was putting down, but I think it just went right by you. Yeah.
Yep. It's okay. And that's the bottom line.
Did you just as a quick little aside there, with regards to the New Age Outlaws, did you hear it would appear that Billy Gunn, he took off the boots there. It seems like he might have hung him up.
Really? No, I did not know. I thought he was still scissoring people senseless out there.
Well, just this past week on AEW there, after the match, he sat down, took off his boots, but it was a big show of it, and hung him up, and then he walked off in his socks up the ramp.
Did you say SmackDown?
No, I said on AEW. He sat down.
I'm sorry.
I said he sat down.
He sat down on the SmackDown.
He sat down in the middle of the ring, and it was like a big show of unlacing his boots, took them off, and then the whole crowd was chanting, "You still got it." But
he does, but human growth hormone's a hell of a drug.
But he took off his boots and everything, which is a pretty usually an indication,
yes.
You're hanging up the boots. The guy, I couldn't believe it. 59 years old. I mean, obviously, it's been a long time he's been in the wrestling business, so I can believe that. But if you look at him, you would not think.
Yeah, we would be remiss in mentioning that he was competing in some bodybuilding and weightlifting competitions recently, and then was disqualified for his use of some substances that you're not supposed to. So he has had a little help, from what I understand. But yes, he looks to be in ridiculous shape, particularly for his age. Yeah, he is just chiseled out of granite, that man.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like you take a pill and it just appears. It still takes a lot of hard work there.
Definitely.
So.
I don't know what kind of pills you're taking, but that's how it works for me.
A little bit of arsenic in it, yeah.
You're jacked in a different way, I think, after that one, Michael. But, is what it is. So, Michael, right now, top 5 professional wrestlers of all time.
Stone Cold.
Ooh.
Andre.
For all 5? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I know a couple. Hulk Hogan.
Thank you for at least including the one we just saw.
John Cena.
Okay.
Dave Bautista. We got Dwayne The Rock. He's an actor. Of course,
I'm not
I know
asking
he
you
exists.
to just name 5. I said who are the ones that meant the most
like
to
your
you?
guys.
God. Well, this involves going. I would say Stone Cold. Honestly,
Naturally, okay.
Yeah,
because he was more from the era that I do remember watching when my mother would watch.
Well, and
wrestling.
he's arguably the most, or at least second most impactful wrestler of all time.
And as I've mentioned previously, is the individual responsible, one of 2 individuals responsible for getting me into wrestling. The first match that I recall stopping to watch and really being engaged by was stunning Steve Austin wrestling beautiful Bobby Eaton for the television title on WCW Saturday.
Not the $1 million belt?
Not the $1 million belt. No, this was back on WCW. And yeah, that was the one that made me stop. It was when Austin had Colonel Tom Parker as his manager, and said right after the Hollywood Blondes thing. So it's an interesting time in wrestling. But okay, so I'm with you. Steve Austin.
I have seen Andre the Giant wrestle. I got a little bit of a fixation on him after I watched Princess Bride as an adult. So
understandable. Have you heard the famed Andre the Giant and Bad News Allen situation explained?
No,
So
I can't say I have.
one of the famous moves that Andre used in wrestling was that he would just grab onto the ropes and then just plunge his posterior down onto the chest and face of his opponent. So he would just slam his butt down on them repeatedly. And apparently, at one point while he was wrestling Bad News Allen or Bad News Brown, depending upon your perspective, he had apparently caught a case of Montezuma's Revenge. And in the course of going for the drop, proceeded to just completely void his bowels
Oh no!
all over him. And then he was laughing so hard he couldn't pull himself up. So now he's got the whole of his weight on this man's chest while he's just dropping bombs. And it was one of the like a notoriously famed story in the wrestling business that everybody loves to throw. It's like, yeah, that's definitely germ warfare as far as I'm concerned.
As far as I know, that is against the Geneva Convention because that is chemical warfare. Yes.
Yeah, and also Andre is noted for having some of the most disgusting gastrointestinal issues due to the volume of beer that he drank.
Flatulence is legendary.
Yes,
Ooh,
yes.
yeah.
All right, well, that takes us to 2.
Yeah, you got Stone Cold and Andre. So who?
It's a great start.
I think I've probably watched some Hulk Hogan.
Okay, that's a qualifier. Let's go. Let's make it even better.
The Undertaker. Yes,
Ooh, look at you.
Yes,
okay.
yeah, because he got his start in the like mid 90s, which is the section that I do remember of sorts. So
I mean, technically, he was the Painmaker and the Punisher before that. And
you're right.
And also was a member of the Skyscrapers for a bit with Dan Spivey. Yeah, sorry, went a little too LA Knight there. I think that's great. That gets us the Mount Rushmore, which everybody's very fond of when talking about wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So, Doc, I don't want to leave you out. I will spare mine because it'll take us hours and for me to qualify.
Well, no, just to give yourself your 5 or whatever. Well, for starters, I gotta go with the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. HBK's got to be on the
I don't
Mount
disagree.
Rushmore. I'm also going to throw up Ric Flair and Sting. And then I'd have to go with Stone Cold. And so I guess I got 1 slot left.
Well, if we're going to go Mount Rushmore, we'll keep it to 4.
Okay.
We'll make it. That's everybody in wrestling loves to talk about theirs. So.
Okay, then I'm still going to go with Sting. I mean, the guy's an icon.
Absolutely.
I still go with Flair, legendary, with the Nature Boy, probably the best promos of all time, I'd say. And yeah, obviously still got to go with HBK. Mm-hmm. So, and I guess, by default, I'd have to go with Stone Cold, also super impactful and, was there, kind of brought me over to the WWF from the WCW. So yeah, I'd go with those.
Absolutely. I'm going to go purely from workers because that's how I run. And so Triple H for me was my favorite for a long time. Really appreciated his match construction. And of course, then we'll throw Shawn in there as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop short of doing the full click, but I think if I was going to, I love Kevin Nash as a storyteller. Not great in the ring. And
he did the most with a limited skill set. He did the most.
7 moves of doom, as Cornette would call it, but including the hair flip. But I think we'll go with at least those 2. I'll stick with the Stone Cold thing because I mean he's fantastic, and when he prior to the neck being injured was a phenomenal worker. Somebody you absolutely had to appreciate. And I'm going to throw in CM Punk there, friends. That's me.
Really? Over Flair, Sting?
I like Flair as far as like, I'm talking about just purely in ring. I mean, obviously, I'd throw Bryan Danielson in there and a lot of other
that's true,
folks. But for me, I love watching Punk's matches. But I also like we could go into tag teams. I love the Midnight Express. I love FTR. I'm like obviously one of those. I'm not a Cornette guy for the sake of being a Cornette guy, but he and I have similar tastes in wrestling. Go figure. But so many to run. But I like Flair. I didn't enjoy his matches as much because the flop was a big thing for me. Like even as a kid, I was like, that smells. I loved Arn Anderson. So for me, watching the Brainbusters in particular, because they were in WWE when I was getting into wrestling. They had already left. I really appreciated their style of matches. Barry Windham was one of my favorites. So
I'm on board with you with the flop, but I mean, like, the same thing as a kid, though. I used to love when he'd, like, get whipped into the turnbuckle and then just do the flip over it. That was super entertaining. And then, of course, the shocking white hair, then just doused in blood. And just the imagery of that, where, like, not just his face like everybody else, but just the white to red was always just so impactful to me as a kid.
Well, see, I like the derivative because Triple H apes a lot of that. So, I mean,
true.
we're going with it. But for the people who I watched per capita, those are the four that I think I would probably go with for the ones that brought me the most enjoyment. Obviously,
You know who's
I
a great
recommend
worker,
nothing
too?
for everything. Yeah,
X-Pac.
absolutely. It's like I said, you'd be remiss in not mentioning Scott Hall there either. But there's a lot of fantastic folks there. And I was a goon for WCW. I loved the Steiners in particular. When I was younger, the Steiners were always my favorites.
The size but agility of that. Oh, just, fantastic.
Yeah, Rick and Scott are both great. And Michael has officially left the call. I'm sorry, folks. But
it's okay. My window's open and I keep expecting to look at it and just see like a face there. So I'm like tripping over here.
oh, good. So Sting has it's Sting. All right. I think that's we're gonna make the hot tag so that Michael can go get some sleep and that Doc can finally rest as well. But it's always nice to have a wrestling theme here that no one will watch. Because if I've proven nothing over the course of all of my discussion of wrestling on the show, it is the inaugural 4 episodes, which were, the first 2 have got big numbers, and then 3 there was a notable dip. And then when we came back with 4, I was like, the wrestling themed one was the worst for a long time. Like everything ran laps around it for the number of downloads and the engagement that got. So I was like, oh, I get it. People don't like wrestling that listen to this show. And then funnily enough, we did the bloodbath episode where we were talking about the bad film that involved professional wrestling, and that was one of the most popular, if not the most popular one that we had on YouTube for a long time. So I don't know anything about what you want.
I don't know what you people like.
And you know the way that you can prove what you like to us?
Your ass better call somebody.
Call Michael. He'll tell you.
And I'll tell you to smash that like button, ring the bell, hit subscribe, set phasers to engage, and comment.
Indeed. We always love hearing from you. And now I'm hoisted upon my own petard. I went through a list of the greatest professional wrestlers, and I didn't mention the Governor. I did not mention Jesse the Body Ventura, who admittedly one of the best talkers the business has ever seen.
Well, you didn't have to mention him because he was there.
Yeah. I'll tell you what happened. I was there. I was lifting weights with Ric Flair back in the day. So I got these pythons. But yeah, I really do. I merge into Patrick Warburton way too easily with the Ventura. I have to work on that thing.
Practice, I guess. You're doing fine. I think you're doing fine.
Well, bless you. Well, shout out to you, Jesse. And just because of you, I do have, of course, the Baja Blast. So we're there from the Baja. we're broadcasting. So for those of us here, please like, subscribe, rate, and review. We'd love to hear from you. There's a link in the show notes that'll take you to all of our irrelevant socials. And, of course, new episodes of the podcast winging your way every lovely Monday morning. So go check us out wherever you steal your podcasts from. Whatever your preferred platform, go get it there. But I believe that is going to officially put a stranglehold and cause this particular edition of Disinformed After Dark to tap out. And so, for the dad this week, I am, in fact, Jesse the Body Ventura.
And I'm Leroy Cherry.
I'm a disappointment.
And we hope you all have yourselves a Baja Blast.
And zippity zoop, we're out of here.